A long time ago, when I was probably 14 or 15 years old, I remember having a conversation with my friend Jack. And at the time, Jack was running cross country and track, right? The running sports at our high school. And I was not. And, I was kind of the typical 14, 15-year-old boy at the time. I just liked to play video games. I didn't really, do anything too difficult in my life. All I just wanted was pleasure, essentially. And he was saying, like, man, don't you want to join me? And I was like, well, it just sounds like physically difficult. You're going to get sweaty. Your legs are going to hurt. Like, why would you put yourself through that you're not going to make any money doing it. Maybe you'll get a little bit in shape. This was my mentality at the time, right? And I remember distinctly him saying something like, don't you want any intensity in your life? Don't you want something to work hard towards just for the sake of doing it so that you can push yourself and grow? And at the time, I really did not understand or agree with him. I was like, why would you do that? This was my immature, boyish thinking. But now, about, 7 years later, I've come to realize that that is the way to live, at least for me. And what I mean by that is living a life that is not just easy, for the sake of being easy. Like even just 3 years ago when COVID happened and everyone kind of had to think about where their lives were going, I started to think, well, do I really want a normal job? Do I want a simple life? Or do I want a life that is maybe a lot more difficult or full of voluntary challenges, but ultimately is more rewarding? And as you can probably assume, I'm of the latter mentality now, but it's taken me a long time to realize this. And I'm not saying that this is the way to live for everyone, because if you're not doing anything to hurt anyone, if you're just living your own life and you just want to play video games all day, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that. I just know that that would be really depressing, for me. And so I'm coming at this from the lens of, what does it mean to be a man? And I know that's an extremely tired topic. It's, been beaten into the ground by people like Andrew Tate and, so many people. But I really think that when it comes down to it, one of the most important qualities to being a man is to care about your future. And you can probably guess what I mean by that. But in my life, it looked like getting away from just playing League of Legends all day, or getting away from eating kind of crappy food. This is what my life was in high school. I didn't really care about my diet. I didn't really care about fitness at all. And over time, I've come to realize that I probably should care about that if I want to live a healthy life, live a life that is financially prosperous, right? And while these are all great goals, I do want to make the point that a lot of people have these conversations about manhood and becoming a man, but it very easily becomes a really cringe discussion, because a lot of guys, they will come at this discussion and immediately go to things like, you need to make $10,000 a month to be a man, or you need to have 18-inch biceps to become a man, and stupid shit like this, right? But the problem with that kind of thinking is that you're essentially assigning an end goal where once that is achieved, you're just automatically going to become a man. And I personally believe that the process of growing up and getting away from that boyish mentality, the thing I told you about track, not wanting to work hard, is it just takes time. And I would not be able to, honestly say that I'm a man now. It just feels really cringe to say. And I think that it's much more of a process, and it's something that you can't really control, in the sense that you can't just become one if you want to. It's more like, instead of trying to say that you are a man, do things that a man would do, which in my case means caring about your future. It means doing the hard tasks even when it doesn't seem like there's any point. Like when I was a lot younger and I said that I didn't want to do track and field because it was hard for no reason. I was like, I'm not going to, gain anything out of this, or so I thought. But when you go through things like that, you become stronger. And in a sense, you become closer to the embodiment of a man. And I will never forget the first day of indoor track. Ironically, it was called indoor track in the winter of 2016, probably. And I remember it was December, it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, it was cold. And my coach told the long distance team, which I was a part of, go outside and run down to the track. And it was pitch black, it was really cold out, and there were maybe 8 or 9 of us out there. And I remember that when we got down to the track, maybe they just forgot to turn on the stadium lights. So we were literally running around the track in the pitch dark, no lights, freezing. And I remember telling myself, what the hell am I doing? Why am I putting myself through this for no gain or no apparent gain? But I now realize that that was a really formative, important experience to do that season of indoor track in the freezing cold. And there were practices when it was snowing outside and we would just be running by ourselves, and it sucked. It really did. But that kind of experience shapes you. It makes you a little bit grittier, a little bit stronger. And when you put yourself through things like that, you become closer to a man. And it's not easy, man. It is not easy. Never for a second will I say that becoming a man is easy, or, like in the title, it ain't easy being a man. And that's not me trying to be controversial, because it ain't easy being a woman either. But I'm saying going from the position of being a boy to becoming a man is not easy. Just like going from a girl to becoming a woman. It's taking this immature thinking, this immature mentality, and shaping yourself into a well-rounded, respectable, hardworking person, man or woman. So just to recap, you shouldn't try to just aim for the target of being a man, or just saying that you are one when you are in fact not. You should instead think about things that a man would do, or a woman would do. Being there for people when they need you, following through with your word, going out and doing the difficult run in the snow, anything, whatever it looks like to you. Because I also don't want people to go out after watching this video and say, well, I need to, do 100 push-ups in the freezing cold to becoming a man. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying whatever difficulty looks like to you in your own life, do that. And for me now, being 22, I'm no longer in indoor track, but now I've voluntarily put myself in positions that are difficult, which is trying to grow a YouTube channel, or going to the gym and lifting weights when I don't technically have to, but I want to, because I know that the end result is going to make me a better person. But that's about it. Food for thought. I don't want anyone to think that this is the number one way to live. I know everyone's life is different, but I think it would be best for the world if we all tried to do things that are a little bit challenging so that we can become better men and better women. But anyways, I'll catch you later.